Welcome. Hey, everybody. I want to share with you some excerpts about what could potentially happen in January. Let's roll these clips.
He's not perfect. He's rude, obnoxious, but we didn't elect him to be perfect or the great guy. We elected him to get things done.
What about the Democrats? What do you think about them and pursuing impeachment?
And exactly what has he gotten done other than major tax breaks for the wealthy, slashing social services for the poor and impoverished? Oh, and building the wall.
Impeachment of this president.
As far as I'm concerned, they need to just back off, let the president do his job.
I don't think that's fair. That's not what America's about.
What is America about to you?
What's America about to you? It's about freedom. We need freedom to own them slaves, by God.
Having freedom. They're pulling our choice of freedom away from us.
And so what do you think about the impeachment?
I mean, exactly what freedom are these folks losing? The freedom to run around, call people niggers, the freedom to basically kick people in the ass and get away with it. What freedom are they losing? In comparisons to other American populations, if we want to subdivide the country into racial groups or whatever, you got to understand, man, the paradigm shift is happening. You're not going to change it, just like you can't stop the polls from swapping. Some things are on autopilot. And a lot of this hate and a lot of this dissension goes back to people's lack of understanding of how the economic situation is truly being played on this planet. Now, you can hold true to your country, you can hold true to your state, you can hold true to your town or village. But it would benefit us all if you could just hold true to humanity. Let's continue. Oh, well, maybe we won't continue right there, but...
Not perfect. He's rude, obnoxious. We elect
Of this president.
As far as I'm concerned, they need to just back off, let the president do his job.
I don't think that's fair. That's not what America's about.
What is America about to you?
Having freedom. They're pulling our choice of freedom away from us.
And so what do you think about the impeachment inquiry?
Well, farce. But if this don't work out, they'll come up with something else.
In one of America's most picturesque landscapes, they're angry the specter of impeachment now hangs over the president.
And one of these days, people are going to lose the confidence in this government, and you're going to see it fall apart. So it'll happen in our lifetime.
Oh, it feels like it's falling apart a little bit right now.
Mm-hmm. You'll probably see a turn probably in January, because this will get really bad, and this impeachment will just separate this party and separate the whole country.
And they're openly talking here about any attempt to impeach Donald Trump, triggering an uprising.
Yes, and it's not going to get, there's going to be a civil war, it's going to be bad, it's not going to get any better until there's some serious things happen.
Down in Cottonwood, we find the idea also being freely discussed among Trump's supporters. What do you think will happen if the Democrats impeach?
I think they're going to have people in the streets, I don't think it's going to go sweet. I think they're going to have, people coming out and our side protesting. We never do. And it's like, come on, people, get in the fight.
It doesn't feel as though America is really on the brink of a civil war, but the idea has become a right-wing talking point, amplified by presidential tweet, and it is ricocheting around his support base. Hi, sir.
How you guys doing?
We're pretty good. We're in town talking to people about impeachment.
It needs to stop. It needs to stop now. And if it does not stop, they will force millions of Americans to go to Washington, D.C., fill the buildings, and clean the place out. That's what needs to be done. We need to walk in with nary a weapon, by the millions, fill the buildings behind these people in Congress, and run them out the door.
It's perhaps meant more as a warning to incite fear among the left about pressing ahead with indicting Donald Trump.
I mean, he's standing up for we the people, and they're not hurting him, they're hurting us. They're hurting all the people of the United States that voted for Trump.
Because this isn't just political, it's personal for people like Lucy and the Trump supporters we meet in the southern city of Tucson at a classic car show.
I am a voting far right-wing Christian Republican.
John is one of those who felt left behind under the Obama administration.
We were forgotten. What about us? We didn't count anymore. It's like Hillary Clinton said, you know, the deplorables.
What does it feel like to be left behind in a country like the United States of America?
I didn't like it. You know.
Almost sounds like he's getting his Negro wake-up call, isn't it? I mean, and it's not even a real Jim Crow or actual enslavement or anything of that nature. It's because they feel as if they're not being represented because they don't get to, I guess in his particular instance, force people to listen to his rhetoric. Because that's what we're talking about at the end of the day. Let's continue.
You know, to be out there. I mean, it's a funny feeling.
In your own country.
Yeah, believe it or not, in my own country, yeah.
How is this going to end?
I don't know.
But it's the first time John's felt represented in this country for a long time, so he will continue to back President Trump. And he's also prepared for anything to happen if the country continues down this polarized, divided road.
There might be some problems with people out here, you know, and I think, okay, we need to just calm down, but I know that there's going to be a rift that occurs, you know, and I hope it doesn't go shooting, because that's not good.
That's not good. You know, folks, what's not good is people not wanting to truly have a republic. People not really wanting to have equality throughout the society, from the children to the elderly, from Asian to black, from gay to straight, whatever, however you want to subdivide us. If we lived in a republic, none of that would matter because your rights would be guaranteed.
The tax, and we already struggle to pay the taxes. My dad's 72 years old, and when he dies, we would have had to pay the value of 50% of our ranch, something that he's worked his entire life for, to pass down to his kids. We're trying to make you look pretty. Get your ear pierced.
So Mitchell voted for Trump, a man he says he didn't even like, but who promised to get rid of the estate tax.
I think he's a buffoon. I think he's a blowhard. His policies will help us more, way more, than what Hillary Clinton's would have.
But one thing you got to give up to these old country fucks, they're voting for tangibles. They don't like the dude, but they're still going to vote for the dude because they feel he's giving them something. Whereas many of us just, oh, yeah, I was the boss. I got to vote this way. Yeah, sir.
Voting for him helped me and my own out, and that's who I have to look out for. Me, my family, my parents, my community.
Mitchell introduced...
And there it is. I mean, really, I can just end the video right here. Let's listen to what he says, man. Listen to what he says. Listen to what he says.
For him helped me and my own out, and that's who I have to look out for. Me, my family, my parents, my community.
Mitchell introduced us to life here in Roberts County and what's important to the people who actually live here. But that's just one man's opinion. There were 549 other voters in the county. So we'll come back to find out if his family and neighbors feel the same way that he does. So we are back in Roberts County, Texas. Last time we were here, it had been 1 month in the Trump presidency. Now it's June, so it's been almost 5 months, and a lot has happened.
We will soon begin the construction of a great wall along our southern border. I issued an executive order to temporarily suspend immigration from places where it cannot safely occur.
I, Neil M. Gorsuch, do solemnly swear.
This is a repeal and a replace of Obamacare.
President Trump has informed FBI Director James Comey that he has been terminated.
Why did you fire Director Comey?
Because he wasn't doing a good job.
Robert Mueller, the former director of the FBI, has been appointed to be the special counsel looking in to Russia's interference in the 2016 election.
The entire thing has been a witch hunt, and there is no collusion.
Feel that he is a strong leader, and he is putting forth a forceful image of our country, reform immigration, reform our medical system, reform our tax system.
Were you a fan of Mr. Trump's plan to build a physical wall?
Not really. I just never have believed that that wall is going to work. You know, I don't necessarily agree with everything he's done.
What do you disagree with?
I disagree with him doing those tweets without asking some of his smart people.
He ran on this idea of banning people from entering the country if they were Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
Did you agree with that?
It's not the most popular religion with me because what it's done is it's put its women down to a third rate.
You know that's not the religion as a...
But what about some of the Christian people who believe that black folks are inferior? Mormons believe the black angel didn't fight in the war, so therefore black people are cursed. When we start going down the religion road and we start talking about one religion, I think we will be wise to look at all religions and how they discriminate against non-believers of their particular beliefs.
The whole, right? I mean, there are millions of Muslims right here in America who don't practice it that way.
Sure. My first roommate in college was full-blown Islamic.
Mm-hmm.
And his name was Fawaz, we called him Fuzz. And every once in a while, you know, he'd throw out his little magic carpet there between our beds. And
his prayer rug?
Well, I called it his magic carpet, you know. I loved Fuzz. He told me all about his world of Saudi Arabia. And when I saw those planes, when I saw those planes fly into those buildings, and they said that they were Muslims, and I thought, that can't be people that are Fuzz's people. They gotta be like him. I was shocked.
5 minutes from Steve Porter's house, across the train tracks, we meet Sonia Lopez.
I'm Anna. Nice to meet you.
Sonia immigrated from Mexico in 2005 to join her then boyfriend. They got married soon after. Their son Noel is now a junior at the local high school. Sonia says her family is one of just 2 Mexican-American families in town. Moving here, she says, was tough, but worth it.
And I came and I was like thinking, if I like it over there, my English wasn't no good like now.
Did you speak any English?
Just a little bit. My English was big wall. And after I started learning, was wonderful.
Sonia runs her own cleaning business. She's not a U.S. citizen yet, so she couldn't vote in the last election. But her husband could, and he voted for Donald Trump.
For me and my opinion, and I guess it's the opinion on all the people here, Hillary Clinton didn't show too much honesty, you know. People here, they are people that they have their own business, a cow business or cattle business, and they want the country growing, economic, you know.
And when you heard Mr. Trump say things about
Mexican
people coming from Mexico, did it bother you at all?
I don't like nobody talk bad about anybody. The only concern to me is if he separated families, because a strong country is because they have a good families. And he's our president, but I pray for him to change his heart and his mind a little bit for a good.
So back when Mitchell told us that everyone here
So she prayed for him to change his heart for the good. That means he's bad right now.
knows each other, he wasn't kidding. Sonia's house is about 5 minutes that way. Right here is where some of her clients, Aaron and Chad, live. Now, Aaron is Mitchell's sister, and she's married to Chad. He's a rancher like Mitchell, but he's also the mayor of Miami. You got all that? Chad and Aaron Breeding were already raising teens Austin and Blake, Chad's kids from a previous marriage. Then, 8 weeks ago, these little guys, twins Lillian and Wyatt, arrived. So the whole town has been chipping in.
Our community is great. They brought us meals for, I think it was closer to a month.
We've heard so much from people here about community. Where does that community begin or end?
I think everybody in this country is generally a good person that would go out and help somebody in need and would bend over backwards to put food on a family's table if they needed it. But they completely resent being told, you're going to give me so much money so I can go over here and give these people this money.
Okay, so this is the itemized that was just for me.
So money is definitely on Chad and Aaron's minds. And being able to afford health care for their growing family on a teacher's salary has Aaron stressed out.
Education funding is not what it was. So school districts, we're not getting our yearly raises, but our health insurance is going up every year. We're going broke paying healthcare premiums. I mean, broke. I can't be a stay-at-home mom because I have to work for insurance.
So yes, Chad and Aaron say cheaper health care would be great. So would tax cuts and an estate tax repeal. That's why they voted for Trump.
Oops.
But they're not exactly hanging on every headline to see what happens.
I mean, there's some things where I'm like, ugh, this again, and I'll change the channel.
What makes you go, ugh?
Like the Comey stuff, I really don't care. It doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
Really, it's boring to me.
It's kind of like Days of Our Lives. You can watch it this week, and then if you miss the whole week and start over next week, you really hadn't missed anything.
His sister may not be tracking the ups and downs of the news cycle under President Trump, but Mitchell is more tuned in. To be appointed a Supreme Court justice.
Yes, I like Gorsuch too.
You do?
I do.
Why do you like him?
I don't like activist judges, and I don't think that he will be a very activist judge.
We haven't seen tax reform yet.
No.
Are you worried if we won't see it? Because that was one of the main reasons you voted for it, right?
No, I'm not worried because if he doesn't do it, I mean, he's an idiot. If he doesn't start forcing the issue.
5 months in, tax reform still looms large for Mitchell and a lot of folks here in Roberts County. Specifically, they're banking on Trump's pledge to ditch the estate tax. Whether or not they can keep their land in the family, they say, depends on that.
There's a lot to this lifestyle that people want to pass on to their kids, and it's hard when you have this outside entity that wants to constantly be pulling pieces away from you.
If you've heard or read anything about the estate tax, which some also call the death tax, you probably think it only applies to the very rich. And for the most part, you'd be right. But the Locks, on paper, are part of that group because of the value of this land. They're one of fewer than 100 small businesses and farms across our entire country affected by this one specific tax. A tax that the family says could devastate their legacy.
Yeah, but it's great for the corporations. These people lose that land, and corporation comes in and takes it. I just want to keep this down short. 19 minutes, 20 minutes. Most of these reports came in early this year, late last year. But basically, folks, the die has been cast. Thanks for watching the show. Peace and power.